There's the little lady confirming that for us. And what I'd love to do now is share my screen and give you a little presentation. You all get to sit back and just watch a presentation. I know as FemTech founders, that's not typically how you spend your time. You're usually the one sharing your screen. So it's great to be the one to do it for y'all. All right, let's see here. Present. Canva's only allowing me to do present and record. That's weird. I just want to present it. Print more, present. There we go. That's what I get for trying to build a presentation in a different platform. All right. Now that I found it, here we go. Here we go. Oh, there's still more people joining. So incredible. So excited for this. All right. Now I discovered the button over here. Elizabeth, can you give me a thumbs up? Can you see my screen? Perfect. Okay, everyone. I am so excited. I'm honestly even a little nervous. My hands are like sweaty. Like this is really big. This is big for me. I think it's huge for you. I think it's really big for the industry worldwide. I really think what I'm about to tell you about today is going to change the way FemTech operates indefinitely. So let's get into it. Welcome to the FemTech Town Hall. First, if you don't know, we are FemTech Focus. We are founded in March 2020. Oops, I said 2022. It was meant to be 2020, y'all. Did not just form this 8 months ago. We formed it almost 3 years ago. FemTech Focus is a 501c3 nonprofit organization founded to do two things. We raise awareness to the need for sex-specific healthcare innovation. And two, we empower the founders like yourselves that are innovating in this space. And we do this through four main mechanisms: a podcast, virtual community, events, and market research. Again, a lot of you already know this, but I kind of wanted to take a second to highlight what we've accomplished over the last 3 years. So first, I want to also tell you, could not do this without my pride. We have a little lioness as our logo. So I am so proud of our team. We are global. We have people from Tokyo, London, Texas, Durham, like all over. So Canada, like I could not do this without my team. They are all stars and I appreciate them so much. And so the podcast, we have listeners in over 126 countries, y'all. I started this podcast in March 2020 in lockdown because I wanted a podcast and there was no such thing as a FemTech podcast. There was no podcast with the word FemTech in the title. Now we have, Legally FemTech, Hot for Your Health. We have lots of other FemTech podcasts, but, this was like kind of the OG. It's the original. By the way, Elizabeth will drop in the chat the link to that QR code. There are several QR codes throughout this event, so feel free to have your phone out, or Elizabeth will be dropping those links in the chat. So we have over 182 episodes. That's a lot of hours, y'all. I have a PhD in genetics, but I might be safe to say I have a PhD in FemTech. We have over 26,000 unique listeners. So truly a global sensation here. It's so awesome. Love the podcast. Drop in the chat if you love the podcast or if you've been on it. That would be great to know, to see. We have a virtual community with over 758 active members, 13 different channels, over 60 webinars. I've done a lot of workshops on fundraising, walk through the term sheet, marketing, PR, legal, financial. So a lot of really juicy webinars in there. We have again, that QR code, and Elizabeth will drop the link to join the community. We have an events calendar. Currently, there's 91 FemTech events in our calendar. Like that is a lot of events. There's a lot of activity happening in FemTech worldwide. So check out the calendar. We have a jobs board with over 35 open positions right now that are hiring. So go check that out. And I also offer free office hours. So every week I dedicate 2 hours of my time to meet with 4 founders. In the last 2 years, I've met with over 225 5 of you. I wonder if anyone here is someone that I've met with. It's honestly the best part of my week. I love meeting with y'all. We also recently launched a First in FemTech award. You may have noticed this. I think that there was a huge gap in our industry with the lack of awards and recognition. So every month we recognize 4 leaders as First in FemTech, recognized for significant contributions to women's health innovation. We will be launching a nomination form soon, so look out for that and nominate yourself. Go get it. Get that award. Next, we have events. So we've had over 75 events, over 2,500 attendees across 3 years. So a bunch of you have probably attended these in the past. We've had really influential people like Jessie Draper and Trish Costello, and it's just been so great. We also have a monthly book club, which happens on the last Wednesday of every month, run by Susan and Karen, our amazing book club hosts. So definitely come and attend that with us. Last but not least is our market research, which actually is going to lead me into what we want to talk about today. So our market research, 3 years ago, I wanted a list of FemTech companies and I could not find one. I could not find a list of FemTech companies. In fact, 3 years ago, I could not even confirm whether or not FemTech had an exit because no one was tracking exits, mergers, acquisitions, and IPOs. And so I created a Google Sheet. That Google Sheet has transformed into this huge database we have with over 1,100 active FemTech companies worldwide. We've tracked so far 127 exits that have happened since 1990, so the last 30 years. And we also quantified the market as a $1 trillion market. One of the unique ways we looked at the data is when I was, again, in lockdown 2020, I remember I had these huge sticky Post-it notes that I put around my living room. And I was like, FemTech, women's health, it's just so big. Like, how can you break it down? How can we talk about it more segmented? And I realized you could segment FemTech based on FemTech verticals. So menstruation, mental health, menopause, brain health, bone health. And then you could also segment it into 18 different product types: diagnostics, CPG, digital health, therapeutic drugs. And so this has been really our secret sauce into how we are breaking apart FemTech and quantifying it and learning more about it. And that, by the way, that QR code was for last year's FemTech landscape report. So that was a really monumental report. A lot of the graphs are in a bunch of your pitch decks. I love seeing it. We are working on this year's report. And one of the reasons we're asking you to do Stack the Deck for FemTech, and we'll talk about that today, obviously, but it's to make sure that we have all the accurate data for our end of year landscape report, which will be an annual publication. Alrighty, y'all, I'm gonna take a sip of my water. So excited you're all here. Why did I bring you here? Why am I hosting a town hall? We are at a critical turning point for the FemTech industry. We have over 1,100 startups. There's 6 FemTech specific funds. We now have 4 accelerators. There's over 15 FemTech organizations worldwide, ranging from FemTech Canada, FemTech Israel, FemTech India, FemTech Insider, like so many organizations. We've had 16 exits in this year alone, and we're getting a bunch of news coverage. I'm sure you all have seen some of these articles, right? FemTech is becoming known and respected. We're becoming mainstream. We're being published in all these major publications. I don't know if you guys saw this one from PitchBook last week that was titled, "Do we really need FemTech?" I don't know how y'all felt when you saw this in your inbox, but I was a little jarred, like, oh my gosh, what are they about to say? Like, yes, no, maybe. Like, please let the answer be yes. I'm not happy with the title, but alas, the final line in the report was really significant. So the last line they said in this report, in this little blog, was, hopefully FemTech will eventually be regarded as simply tech. And I think everyone here agrees with that, regardless of me being the person who actually defined what FemTech was, right? Because before 2020 was like, well, women's health. And now we know it's, solutions to conditions that solely, disproportionately, or differently affect female, women, and girls. Like, FemTech Focus established that definition. Now, hopefully one day we don't even need that, and it just becomes health tech. But I think similarly to what you all know is that women's health is not just regular healthcare. We have so many additional implications to be successful. We have barriers with billing codes and getting to the market and advertisement blocking. And so I do think FemTech will always have a place, but yes, I agree with them. Hopefully it just becomes tech. As it stands in 2022, FemTech is not the label that women's health focused startups deserve. It's the one they need. Until the VC industry and society as a whole can recognize the equal value of women's health. Wow, that is so powerful. And what I get from that is, how can we get the VC world? How can we get society to recognize the equal value of women's health? Because that's my mission. My mission is to improve women's health. And the way that I do that is not through a specific medical device. It's by supporting you. That is how I improve women's health, because I know you're improving women's health with your specific solutions. And so I want to elevate you. And so when I see this, I ask myself, well, how can FemTech Focus and my team get the VC world and society to recognize the equal value of women's health? Well, I think one of the biggest barriers to being recognized is the fact that we have no data. We're still truly behind and lacking in our data. How many people here, feel free, raise your hand, do a little emoji, put it in the chat. How many people here have had to literally quantify your own market size because that report has never been published? How many of you have been desperate to find exits that are comparable for you to put in your pitch deck? How many of you are, pitching to investors or potential partners or customers, and they say, oh, wow, this exists, or this doesn't exist yet? How many of you are trying to find business models to compare your business to? Can you find comparable valuations when an investor tries to go, negotiate with you about how much your company is valued? Wouldn't it be helpful if you could point to 10 other companies, 5 in FemTech and 5 outside of FemTech, that you can say, hey, this is how similar we are, and this is why I think my valuation is X. That would be pretty useful in getting the VC world and society to respect us and to see us for what we are. Right? I see the chat going. Perfect. I love it. Again, I'm preaching a little bit to the choir here, but the lack of comprehensive and accurate data on the femtech industry is causing major barriers. And again, what is my goal in life? My goal in life is to remove barriers for you to commercialize your solutions. Founders can't find comparables. Investors are blind to market opportunities. They're investing in things that the world doesn't need, women don't want, and there's already 10 of, right? Investors need to be able to see where are the gaps in the market, so they're investing in your solution, probably the first and only one of its kind. 3, acquirers are unable to discover their targets. The Bayers of the world, they don't have visibility into what we're working on so that they can invest in us, acquire us. 4, media coverage is mostly on the few top unicorn companies, right? They're mostly exposing the stories of the ones with huge PR budgets. You all deserve an amazing media coverage, a good publicity, getting interviewed and recorded. Last but not least is customers are waiting and looking for new women's health solutions to integrate into their clinical practice, and they can't find you because, again, things are not accurately measured. Well, my cat is in here, so he wants to leave. 1 second. Come on. Go ahead. Oh, virtual life. I did not see him in here. So we need data to fix these. That's what I think. And something very exciting has happened this year. These major players, logos around the border, but many more not even listed, have reached out to FemTech Focus with specific FemTech questions. Questions like, hey, Britt, how many FemTech companies are in Europe? What's the best breast pump to promote to our patients? Can you diagnose disease from menstrual effluent? Is anyone already doing that? Does anyone target college students for egg freezing? Which FemTech companies use textiles? How big is the women's health market in the US? Which FemTech companies are generating more than $50 million in revenue? These are all real life questions I have received from these clients. These people are asking me, we are desperate for answers to these questions. We have money to invest. We have R&D teams to build. We have strategies to execute, and we cannot find accurate data. Honestly, most of these, they don't have any data whatsoever to even start with. And they're coming to us asking these questions. And so, as you can see, I'm starting to see the issue. I'm starting to hear the questions, and I'm starting to look at what can I do to connect this and bridge that gap. Introducing Fem Health Insights. So exciting. The goal of Fem Health Insights is to reduce duplicate solutions and innovate for untapped markets. Get FemTech funded by the government, individuals, funds, and institutions. Enable faster commercialization of products and solutions. Bridge business development between founders and clients at scale. Independent, validated, trusted third-party market research. Founders shouldn't be the one doing your own market research. You should be pulling it and citing something. Empower clinically and scientifically proven solutions. No more faux science for FemTech. I know you are all working and diligently spending your time proving your solutions. Things that are unproven shouldn't get all the funding. We need to be promoting the ones that are truly proven. Protect the female consumer by exposing poor players. Most of you, and I'm going to say 99.9% of you, I just can't see all of you, but you're not the poor players. We all know who they are. Follow me on LinkedIn. Follow my What the FemTech thread, because we know who the players are, and we want to continue to expose them and promote y'all. And accelerate exits by connecting buyers with companies. And so with those goals in mind, we are building the source of truth for women's health. What I'd like to do now is give you a demo of the product. This is essentially confidential, but I want to prove it. I want to show it to y'all. And the reason I'm showing it to y'all is because this product cannot exist without your support. And we'll get into that a little bit more. But I truly believe that one of our superpowers as an industry is our collaborative spirit. And so this is me collaborating with you. This is me showing you behind the scenes what I'm building, because I want your input. I want your insights. I want your feedback, because this product is not just for the investors. This product is for you. So here is just a little demo. And I would love to see in the chat any kind of reactions to this, if anything's happening, because, you know, virtual world, if any of you have led a virtual event, there's like that moment where you're like, I hope people are loving this, and you're not sure. So please give me some validation in the chat if what you're thinking about this. So welcome to Fem Health Insights. So it's going to be similar to PitchBook. So it's kind of similar in sense of that it's the FemTech version of PitchBook, but so much better. And so what we're doing here is your post login. So you'll get a free login. We'll talk about your accounts in a second, but you'll log into Fem Health Insights. This dashboard right across here, you'll actually be able to modify it based on what you care about. So I know some of you, let's say you're working on urinary incontinence. So you can actually change all of these things. Hi, Gerald. I know I was pointing to you. You can actually change all of these boxes to be updated based on the thing that you're interested in. So, you know, Gerald could set it for urinary incontinence, and you can see which new companies were added that week, exits that have happened, funding rounds that have happened. So you can get all the news on the specific vertical you're interested in. This is a matrix to actually visually see where things are concentrated and where things are underserved. So right now we have the product types across the top, verticals across the y-axis, and it's sorted right now based on alphabetical order. So you see abortion and apparel. But you can actually build it so that you can sort based on highest funding rounds, highest valuations, most amount of funding, highest concentration of companies, et cetera. And what you can actually do at that point is start to visualize all the dark spots would be where things are oversaturated, a lot of activity happening, and things that are more white will be your undersaturated areas. Again, most of you are like, I don't necessarily care about those other verticals, but you know, most of our users are going to be Fortune 5,000 companies, business development, research and development, and innovation arms that are going to wonder, what should we do? I actually would love to share a quick story as to how powerful this matrix is. I was recently hired by a textile company, a very large, well-known one, and they were thinking about making period underwear. Okay, so they came to me and said, Britt, can you show us all of the textile-based femtech companies? I said, sure. I exported information on 84 companies. Some of you might have been in there. And what they discovered was that, wow, period underwear is pretty well covered. Wow, like a lot of people are doing it, but no one's really doing, or there's very few solutions specifically for bras for breastfeeding that may be able to help circulate blood flow or the milk or massaging of the lymph nodes. And so now they, based on a list, just a list that I exported to them, they actually have changed their business objectives from period underwear to mastectomy and breastfeeding bras. And so that is the power of this platform. When we give these companies the data that they actually can visualize what women's health really is, we will start to actually innovate and create solutions for women's health that they need. Now, hopefully, if you're one of those solutions these companies are looking for, they're not going to just try to be like, we'll build it ourselves. If you have IP, if you have traction, if you're the expert, this textile company obviously is not the expert because they were shooting in the dark in their idea. They may acquire you. They may invest in you. They may say, hey, we have this technology, we'd like to partner. That's the power of this platform. So let's keep going. We have highest funding vertical by vertical. We have highest funding by product type. By the way, y'all, if you're like trying to like zoom in, this is fake data. This is a wireframe. So our real data is not put in here. But we can look at valuations over time within certain verticals or product types. We even have heat maps. So let's say you can actually search, seed stage, breast health diagnostic tools, boom, and see where all of them are in the world. On the right here, we have an API live feed from Twitter. So we'll be pulling your live Twitter feeds. It'll be live updated here. We have FemTech news being pulled in from different sources. Recent exits, recently funding rounds, all that juicy information. And so here's another page I'd like to show you. You will all have a company profile page. So again, similar to PitchBook, but we're including things that help promote you more. So PitchBook is very just the financials. I think that women's health is so much more than just the financials. So we have a section here for awards and involvement. Where have you won stuff? Where have you been recognized? I'm sure like ACOG, maybe they awarded you for this super groundbreaking device you're working on. So like we want to promote you. Everything in here is made with the intention of helping you succeed. We have awesome little descriptions and founding day, website, social presence. We're asking for things like a link to your privacy policy. Why are we asking that? Well, because we are trying to really level up the playing field. If you believe in your privacy policy and what you're doing with your users' data, this should be an amazing opportunity for you to show how ethical and forward-thinking and value-based you and your company are. We're going to show, are you revenue generating, the contact info. At some point, what I'd love to do is have a little radar here, a little glowing $sign or something, if you're actively raising, so I can help connect you to people that are interested in your fundraise. So stay tuned for that. And last thing I'd like to show you on this slide is lists. So anyone I think here has used Airbnb. When you heart a place to stay at, what does it say? It says add to existing list or make a new one. In our platform, you can make lists. So you can make a list and then go to your saved lists like here. And so here on the left side, you'll see your saved list title. So let's say this person made a list for apparel in pelvic floor and breastfeeding. They made a list for US-based apparel breast health, and some favorites. And so what they've done here is that here's one of the lists. Now, let's say you are a pelvic floor medical device and you are talking to an investor or a potential corporate partner, or maybe a hospital wants a trial with your product. And they say, can you show me like where you are in comparison to all the other companies that are kind of like you? You say, no problem. Boop, boop, boop. You already have this list probably saved because you're a badass founder who already did your work, right? But right here, we actually are creating visuals just based on your list. So instead of this like overarching, oh, FemTech, $1 trillion market, right? Like hand wavy stuff, you can really get down in your nitty gritty. We calculated the FemTech market as $1 trillion market. I want us to calculate that for every product type, for every vertical, for every which way, right? Because those are the numbers you actually really need to fundraise and sell. And again, here's the location of companies. So you can say things like, hey, yeah, there are companies that exist, but they're all in Asia. We're the only one in the US, or whatever your argument might be. Again, the funding, the valuations, the exits, and all that juiciness. So that is our wireframes, and I will open it up for questions in one moment. I just want to finish what my story here real fast. Present. Y'all, I'm so excited. The source of truth for women's health. And one of the things I want to just note really fast, similar to what you are all working on, if we waited for somebody else to make it, it may never exist. And I feel the very same way about this. If we don't make this, it may not exist. But even worse than not existing, it might be founded and created by someone who's not eyeballs deep in FemTech. And what we do not need as an industry is anyone thinking women's health is just a bunch of girls playing around and it's easy peasy and that they could do it themselves. Unacceptable. We see this happening, right? They're catching wind of how much money they can make in women's health. And what we need to do is come together as an industry, as people who've been working together side by side. I know many of you personally. I've known you for years. I've seen the work you're doing. I see the sacrifice you're creating and what salaries you could have in other jobs. And instead, your Northern Star is the same as mine, improving women's health, even if it doesn't get to market in time for you and your health or your daughter's health. Your intention that this is a lifelong generational issue, and like, regardless of how successful you can be, you making any momentum in it is significant. And I feel the same way. And I do not think that the source of truth for FemTech can be created by anybody else besides a leader in FemTech. Our traction so far is we have over 30,000 data points. This is 3 years in the making, y'all. I started with a Google Sheet, and now we're filling in the gaps with this year's census, that survey, Stack the Deck for FemTech. Now you're starting to piece the gaps together. You're like, oh, that's why Brittany wants to know that stuff, because I'm filling out your profiles, everybody. Filling out your profile so you get the accurate investments and partnerships and acquisitions. All those things I need the data to do this. But more on that in a second. So we have 30,000 data points. We already have established partners with Statista, BCC Research, and Crunchbase. All three of them have come to us and said, we'll never outcompete you in FemTech. Like, you're obviously the leader. We want to partner. And so large research companies are already coming in and making formal partnerships. And we have well over $350,000 in letters of intent to license this platform from major stakeholders, including Reckitt, Siemens, McKinsey. That's a little confidential, but I trust y'all. We're here together. What I want to say is that this isn't some idea. This is like people are biting at the bit, waiting for this platform to be live. And so I want to share something special with you. What is my Northern Star? It's women's health. And how do I improve women's health? It's by supporting you. And so we have a shared success business model. The price point for this platform will be between $10,000 and $50,000 a year for those Fortune 5000s. But for FemTech companies with less than 5 million in funding, I will give you free access to this platform. You need this data to fundraise. You need this data so you don't sacrifice your salary to build a product that there's already 10 of in the world, but you didn't know because there was no list. You deserve to have data proving the implications of your solution, proving the need for it, supporting you so that white bros don't come in and try to whip something up and get money from Peter Thiel, their friend, right? We need a source of truth. And so you deserve this platform. So any FemTech company with less than 5 million in funding, I will give you free access to this platform. And I want to also provide you more opportunity. So again, that opportunity to get exposure, please participate in Stack the Deck for FemTech. If you have questions, we'll definitely have time, at least a solid 15 minutes. If you want to talk about that data part, we will talk about it. But please, we have a goal of 350 companies out of 1,100 to fill out our Stack the Deck for FemTech survey. And as of today, we had 80. So we are on our way. And that was pre-TownHall. Y'all don't even know what we're doing, but you trust me, right? You trust me. You've seen me forfeit my own 6-figure salary. You've seen me, be a geneticist who's a podcaster because I believe in this so wholeheartedly. God, I would love health insurance, y'all. I really would. And it's so fine by me to sacrifice that in order to do this, because this is truly my passion. It's what makes me so happy. And so I want to help you. Please fill out the Stack the Deck for FemTech. Elizabeth will drop that link in the chat as well. And then I'm very excited to say, I want this funded by FemTech because I believe this will be at least $100 million exit in the next 5 years. And I do not want those returns going squarely to the people who never invested in FemTech before because they just love B2B SaaS, right? I want you to be rich. I want all of you to have FU money because I have a feeling that what you will spend your excess capital on is investing back in FemTech. I have a feeling. Maybe you won't. Maybe you'll just buy a yacht and, I don't know. You can do whatever you want. But I have a feeling that the success of this business relies on you. And so I want you to be able to experience the financial gains from that. And moreover, when we have the community's buy-in, the platform is so much more powerful. It is so much more powerful. And I know that when we're successful, you will all do so well with your money by giving it back to FemTech. And so we have launched a WeFunder that is the become an owner, invest in a piece of the business. So you can invest as little as $100. I also recognize y'all are bootstrapping your own lives. I get that. So it's a minimum 100. But if you want to own a little bit more, if you want to get closer to that yacht, closer to an accredited investor status, please feel free to invest via that platform. We do have a special offer in the terms for the first $100,000 invested. So you actually will have a lower valuation cap on the convertible note. How this investment works is through an SPV on WeFunder. So it'll be a single line on my cap table, which I can't even get over how excited I am to have FemTech founder community as a line in my cap table. Like that's amazing. And so I want you all to participate in that $100,000, first 100,000 investors or $100,000 worth of investors will have a special valuation cap that's lower than the other one. And then also for the next 2 weeks, this is only going to be for FemTech founders. So we have this town hall today. We have another one with the equal number of registrants for tomorrow night at 9 p.m. so we can get the rest of the world in here. But for the next 2 weeks, this is only going to be open to FemTech founders. And then I'm going to be posting it on my LinkedIn. So I really, really hope that you participate. And, I'll just end with FemTech superpower is our collaborative spirit and our pure passion to improve the lives of women, female, and girls worldwide. Now is the time to accurately report on FemTech, to level up industry standards, to build what should have already existed, and to make significant financial gains. The time is now. Women cannot wait. And with that, I am more than happy to take any of your questions. Thank you for the opportunity to tell you about this. Definitely a risk. I've never done this, right? A product reveal to a community, but you can either drop your questions in the chat or feel free to unmute yourselves. Even if it's not a question, you have a comment, I'm all ears. Again, this product is my product. It's also your product. So I would love to hear feedback, insights, whatever you want. Next 20 minutes are yours. Susan, do you have any feedback for what we're building?
I was about to say, I hate to be that person that's like, it's not a question, it's more of a comment, because
But yeah, go for it.
Always the white guy at the conference, but I really don't specifically have any questions. I think this is so valuable. I'm just really excited to see it in action. I want to thank you for putting so much thought into it. It definitely felt like you put all of these FemTech founders, which of course, I work for a FemTech founder, I'm invested in FemTech, and this data piece is going to be one of the driving forces. And just the fact that I think that, this is on the basement floor, right? Just even in the last 2 years of seeing FemTech grow, it's been incredible. And this is just such a critical piece of the puzzle. So thank you so much. And thank you for being so considerate to invite everyone to a town hall and kind of have us all be in on the conversation.
I love it. Absolutely. I truly feel like I can't do this without you. And I think that is actually one of another superpower of FemTech is our collaborative spirit. And, I think other founders in other industries operate very siloed, and that's their downfall. That's a disadvantage. And ours is one that says, hey, I have this idea. Come on in and help me.
This is great. I have a question too. Just in terms of integrative care, I know with women's health, like the way you were showing the data, it was divided up by different sections of women's health. But what about for startups that focus on integrative care and touches many different elements of women's health and not just only one element?
Yeah, that's a fantastic question, and definitely something that keeps me up at night. We do have one of the FemTech verticals is reproductive health and general health are two verticals that a lot of those integrative companies fall under. Reproductive health is typically solutions for within the OB-GYN office, during your well woman's exam, solutions that happen during that is usually I put under reproductive health. Same with any sex ed or community engagement things. And then general health is usually where I would put that integrative. There are solutions that are aiming to be full life cycle of the woman's life. And so I would put that under general health. In the census, we're asking you, what's your predominant FemTech vertical? And then we also ask you if you have any subsidiary verticals. And, this will evolve. FemTech is new. I literally made these up in quarantine, in Houston, Texas, when I was on these giant Post-it notes, trying to think all the different ways I could try to break up FemTech and make it more digestible. So I do think that potentially there are new verticals. I am already anticipating product type. We need at least one more vertical that's for clinic. What's the word I'm looking for? It's in-person services. There's a lot of Kind Body. They have it in office. It's their thing. So I do think that our tags will evolve, but that comes with your involvement. So thank you, Jennifer, for that really great question.
Thank you.
See Gerald's hands up. Unmute yourself, Gerald.
Thanks. One of the companies I'm mentoring is led by a woman who survived breast cancer, and she's now developing a reference service for people that need health providers to relieve the pain of chemo or the pain of radiation therapy. And she calls her company Connect and Thrive, abbreviated CAT, and her logo is the same as Brittany's, a cat. So that's maybe a partial answer to the question that was just asked.
Thank you, Gerald.
Brittany, I'm wondering, you talked about clinical trials. Would you be able to, obviously taking all the data in, would you be able to upload, let's say if a university is publishing on your results and have that direct link there?
100%. Thank you, Susan, for asking that. So one of the things we've actually been asked by some of these big clients is, can you send us clinically validated or scientifically proven products? Because in a real life story, I won't name it, but one client spent $50 million on a vaginal soap, and nobody on their team had questioned whether or not vaginal soap was good for your vagina. And so they spent all this money, they acquired it, and then they were like, oh, wait, it's like really bad for women. Oh, and they had to just trash it. That's a $50 million mistake, because something tells me no woman was on that board talking about the decision, right? But anyways, I digress. They came to me and said, hey, we are interested in acquiring more FemTech products, but we are like really, really serious though. We want to see that it's good for women, that it's proven out to be like, what are the benefits? What's the results of their product in women's hands? And so that is why one of the questions in the census you'll see is, do you have any letters from the FDA? Do you have any peer-reviewed articles that you'd like to share? Because we do have clients specifically asking for that. Yeah. I see Susanna asked, will it be accessible also for pre-seed startups? Yep. If you have less than 5 million in funding. And I also saw a really inquisitive DM from an audience member about maybe even a sliding scale. Like maybe you have raised more than 5 million, but your cash flow is really tight right now. I am more than happy to figure out a business model that works for all FemTech founders. So what we're going to do is we're launching this, hopefully an MVP version, January or February. We need at least $250,000, which is what the crowdfunding goal is, to build this platform. Tech ain't cheap, y'all. You all know that. I know that. Our current quotes from multiple sources is $250,000 to build this platform. And so once we're built, hopefully we'll do an MVP launch January, February, kind of quietly. You all will be welcome to join, give me feedback, get in there, fill out your profiles a little bit more and stuff. And the goal would be to do a full public launch in June 2023. June 2023 is the 30-year anniversary of women being included in clinical trials in the United States. And so I want to do a month-long PR stunt thing, like let's get crazy with the ideas here, right? Full month-long thing of 30 years ago, we thought it was important enough to include women in clinical trials. Today, we think it's important to quantify the innovation occurring in that industry. Some amazing PR person like Elizabeth or Nicole from my team will help me figure out what's the messaging there. But that's our ultimate goal, is that June 2023, we do full public launch. And yeah, so my goal is that when you're a startup, to get your free access, you have to have a 15-minute call with one of our analysts, and they will collect data, fill out your profile, and then give you your login. So that's kind of the goal. But that's all of that to say, we're more than happy to accommodate if you have more than 5 million in funding, but your cash flow is X, we'll figure it out. We'll give you access. What I don't want is billion-dollar companies that are in women's health or claiming they're in women's health, like Organon should pay for this, right? Y'all, I think y'all agree. So that's where we're coming in here, but I'm very agreeable to whatever you think.
Brittany, we've got a question there from Andre.
If you're a marketplace that includes FemTech, I would say yes, as long as the vast majority is FemTech. If you're a marketplace that maybe 10% is FemTech and 80% is, I don't know, not women's health, it's, something else, men's health or something, then I would say probably not. But whenever you submit data, we do always do kind of a manual check. That's one of the differences between us and other companies. I'm sure you've seen companies like FemTech Analytics publish graphs, with the top 10, most funded FemTech companies, and one of them is Johnson & Johnson. So we really do manually screen these things and make sure that it's accurate. Rosanna?
Hi, I'm a head of product of a health tech at the moment, but I'm exploring kind of going into the FemTech space myself as a founder. How would you go about kind of building a network within the FemTech space to kind of sound ideas and gather research?
I would love to meet with you. So what I would suggest, and for me to give you a full proper answer on this as well and send you resources, and this goes for anybody here, if you'd like to talk one-on-one, if you join our virtual community, I can redrop that. Elizabeth can redrop that link in the chat. Join our virtual community, bottom left-hand corner, there says free office hours. I hold office hours every week. I'd love to have a 30-minute meeting one-on-one with you and like give you the full lowdown on all of that.
Amazing.
Does that sound good? Okay, awesome. And by the way, Rosanna, you may see that office hours are booked out through December. Every week, somebody cancels. So, and I invite all of y'all, if you look Sunday night or Monday morning, somebody always cancels. So I actually have openings almost every Monday. Rachel.
Hey, this is amazing. I'm taking my High Ivy hat off and putting my FemTech Canada hat on. What can we do as an organization representing, let's say, a country and FemTech in general? How can we leverage this for you? And maybe this is something we take offline. How can we get more people on the platform for you? How can we maybe invest as, our group? How can we leverage this for you specifically?
Totally. I would say first and foremost is like anyone who joins your community, make sure you're asking like, hey, you have a profile in Fem Health Insights. And right now that's via like filling out the survey. But eventually it'll be like, go to their website and like book a consultation, right? So there'll be a call to action when the website's live and stuff. So one, get your communities to fill out their profiles, make sure they're represented. I think could be some really cool like hackathons or like workshops done based on the platform. So like you can do an event where you say, hey, with a bunch of college kids that are eager about FemTech, and you look at that heat map and you say, let's discover a place that's underserved and make a project out of it. Or I think there could be a lot of really cool things there. As of right now, my biggest needs are funding. And so you can participate either in the WeFunder, or I have a convertible note, so you can invest right on that. For those that are out of state, I think my operations person, Carlene, I can see she dropped me a URL that has WeFunder and International Investors Guide. Obviously can't open that yet. If you are outside of the US, I don't know about WeFunder. I should have checked this. I apologize. If you can invest internationally, if anyone here has done a WeFunder, I don't know if you can do international investing, but I do have a convertible note. And I personally don't care about messy cap tables. I think that's a lazy excuse for investors they don't want to scroll down an Excel sheet. Like, what's the big deal if you have 100 rows in your Excel sheet for who has equity? So I actually don't care. All of you could sign your own convertible note and I wouldn't care. But I'm trying to make it easy through WeFunder. If you can't do it through that platform, message me. I'll send you the convertible note. I don't care. Rachel, did that answer your question? I would say for right now, it's just promoting, getting people to fill out their profiles. And then once it's live, and then participating like financially, in getting it up and going. And then 3 is once it's live, like creating events out of it, because my goal is that this is so wildly successful that I'm generating $200 million a year. And then I can sponsor all your events for FemTech Canada, like that's my goal. My goal is to sponsor your events. My goal is to like give out grants and scholarships to kids who want to, major in FemTech. My goal is to create a business certification class for, executives to learn more about women's health and be accurately, talking about it in their industries. So my thoughts are huge. Like, the ultimate is like an institute for women's health innovation, right? Like, but this for me is just, it started 3 years ago. This is just that another inflection point.
Great.
Gerald.
Can you set up yourself as a B corporation so you can accept donations from us?
Oh, that sounds like such a good idea. I set it up as a C Corp on LegalZoom because that's how I know to do it. I would say that we are absolutely probably have B Corp values. So I would just have to look into the legalities behind how we would set it up a B Corp. Yeah, I would just have to find that out.
Then you could take donations.
Yeah. I want to make y'all rich though,
First, you have to get going.
Any other questions, comments, concerns, ideas? I love it. So I know Elizabeth is like feverishly writing down these things like, what if they have over 5 million of funding? What do we do? Like, so this is really great feedback for us. We can't build this in a silo.
Brittany, I just wanted to chime in to say, oh, this is so wonderful. It's really going to help all of us. And just thank you. Thank you for this hard work and this vision. It's really incredible.
Thank you, Michelle.
Mhm.
It has been hard work. We have a full team that is just so dedicated to the mission. I could not be more grateful for the people surrounding me. And I couldn't be more grateful to build this for an amazing community. I have worked in a lot of industries, y'all. I had a dating app. I've been in science. I was in like Texas Tech, which is mostly oil and gas. They all suck. I know I see Impact Hub Houston there, right? Like, you know what I'm talking about, right? The good old boys, like everyone's got a freaking NDA they want you to sign. And it's like, how can we mine the moon? And you're like, women's vaginas are melting shut during radiation because we don't have a vaginal stent. How about we fix that, right? I am so grateful to be in an industry where I can have something like this and know like none of y'all are going to go out there and try to build your own, right? You're here for it. You're here for the community, for us all doing this and building this together. So cool. Rochelle, hell yeah. I'd be happy to speak anywhere, anytime. Alina, if you go to the virtual community, it's in the bottom left-hand corner after you sign up. Okay. And it says like free office hours. Again, don't be alarmed by booking December. Just set yourself an alarm for Sunday night and check it again.
I guess, Brittany, like, I know we only have like 3 more minutes left, but, and we're getting into like sleepover energy where everyone has got some really great ideas.
Yeah. Sleepover energy. Love it.
I guess like my one question would be about environmentally minded investors coming to the space, because that would be the one distinction that I've seen in terms of like the menstrual space. Like we all know is like oversaturated, but being able to like maybe give investors the option to like look at like a menstrual company that's also environmentally impactful. And again, like FemTech is mission driven. So this may actually, end up bringing investors who are interested in social impact. So that might
I
be
love
some ideas.
it. I love it. So, yes, 100% yes. So I think that's one of the reasons why we have those like awards and accolades, because maybe you won a like clean tech thing, right? Or you were recognized by some, foundation for, reduce, reuse, recycle or something, right? So we want to be promoting that. We remember those saved lists. So you can create your own saved lists, but we're actually going to be having thought leaders. A lot of you will probably be some of them. Susan, I definitely think you'll write a few of them, where we want you to actually create lists that we will publish as public lists. So we can create a list that's like top 10 environmentally conscious FemTech companies. Right. And we can have, Susan, your thought leadership, right, describing all 10 companies a little bit. And we're sharing that in the clean tech world, and that's bringing them in too. So 110%. And we can create these lists like, 10 Black founders innovating in FemTech, and Indigenous women innovating in FemTech, top 10 FemTech solutions for the Medicaid market. Think all of those really awesome things. Yes. There was something else I was going to say about the profile and promotion, but another crazy idea. I have a lot of ideas, y'all. This is, you have ideas. We're all entrepreneurs here. I want to do like a FemTech certified. So at some point you can actually get your company certified, and we'll have like some kind of credentials to get a official FemTech certification similar to fair trade. So we probably will include things like female leadership, data privacy, like, standards, environmentally conscious if you do have a product that is going to be put in a landfill or something. And so I think that could absolutely fit into that. Amazing. Well, in our last 60 seconds, y'all, I will just say women's health is everyone's health. And, if we improve women's health, I truly believe the world would be a better place, because there's a lot of effort out there trying to get women to have equal salaries, trying to get women on publicly traded boards, trying to get women to, make decisions about their own bodies, have women in politics. I believe that if women are uncomfortable, unwell, or dead, all those efforts are for nothing. Women need to be thriving to really execute in all the things that we're working towards for gender and sex equality. And I'm wildly driven to get this platform up and running and get you all the exposure you deserve and get FemTech, the respect it deserves. So let's do this together. I'm so excited to have shared this with you. Please don't post it publicly yet. Let me have my second founder town hall tomorrow for my Asian counterparts, for them and other folks who couldn't contend today. And then I'll start posting it on LinkedIn once you see that happen. If you don't follow me on LinkedIn, please just look me up, Brittany Barreto, and follow me, and then go ahead and let's share it and let's get this funded and going. I talked to Backstage Capital today, and she said, I think you might even just be able to fundraise just from your community. So that would be pretty cool. That'd be really cool. All right, y'all. I love you all so much, Fem fans. You make the world go round. You make the world a better place. And I am so grateful to be your humble servant leader here, building something with accurate data. Love it. Hey, bye, everyone.